Welcome back, folks, to the Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I always like to take just a moment and say that I appreciate those of you that listen to this program, that watch our videos on YouTube, that visit our website, and ultimately reach out to us for some help. And I'm here to tell you that we're not just transaction-based real estate agents. I'm here to help folks in anything housing related. So maybe you need a good contractor, maybe you just need an updated opinion of value, maybe you need to do something for tax purposes or for estate planning purposes. A lot more than just helping someone in a real estate transaction. So if we can ever help you in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to reach out to me. My direct number is 843-800-0065. That number goes to me only, by the way. 843-800-0065. You can text that number. You can check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. A lot of great content on that website. We've really worked hard to make sure that it's not just one big website that's all about us. It really should be all about you and the information you guys need to make informed decisions. So listingsincharleston.com is the website, and you can always send me an email, brian@brianbeattyteam.com. So we're talking about some creative ways of structuring real estate transactions, because there's a lot of folks out there that are still in the position, and I know because we talk to them all the time, where they would like to sell. They don't need to sell, but they would like to sell if they can find a property that makes sense. And I want to back up for just a second and just say that, if you think back a few years ago, really pre-COVID, maybe somebody had a 4.5-5% interest rate, and all of a sudden interest rates plummeted below 3%. Even though prices were rising, you could go and purchase a more expensive property, and when you got a lower interest rate, you could have almost the same payment for a bigger, better house. So you had all of these people that saw the financial incentive associated with selling and buying, and then on top of that, we had all the people that just wanted to move because now they could work from anywhere, right? We took a bunch of people that were probably going to move in the next few years and crammed it into like a 2-year period, which just obviously sent the real estate market stratospheric. Look at what happened with prices. I mean, some of these graphs that we look at when we're sitting down with our clients and we're helping them understand the trend within their specific area, their specific market, some of these graphs are very aggressive, especially when we look at things like appreciation or lack of inventory or days on market. It's really incredible to see just how far we've come from the Great Recession of 2008. I mean, a few years ago, we got back to the pre-Great Recession levels as far as pricing are concerned. But back to my initial point here, we've got a lot of people out there that still want to move. There's still a lot of gas left in the tank among folks that are interested in making a move, but they really need to better understand the process. And that's really what I want to break down here, because the reality is most folks need to sell their home in order to buy something else. And they believe that needs to be the order of things. It has to be a sale in order to have a purchase. You have to have the money in order to buy the house you want to buy. But if you think about the fact that even with the softening in the real estate market, we are still in a seller's market, because the seller's market it's determined by the month's supply of inventory, which as of right now is like 1.6 months, meaning if we didn't put another home on the market in 1.6 months, we'd be out of stuff to sell. If you trace the market back to 2010, 2011, we had like 18 months supply of inventory, a year and a half. So obviously an excess of supply and very little demand, which is what caused prices to go down. But for the folks that are out there that are listening that still want to sell and buy something else, but they're not in a rush to do so, let me give you some creative ways of structuring this. Because I think at this point, most people have heard of a home sale contingency, right? They see something that they like, they want to make an offer, and that offer contains a contingency that says, hey, I want to buy your home, but in order for that to happen, I have to put my home on the market, get it under contract, and close on it before I can buy yours. And obviously, if we put ourselves in the shoes of a seller, especially over the course of the past several years, that's been a very unattractive option for them, because, 2 hours later, a buyer would come along that did not have a home to sell, and the seller didn't have to inherit that risk. Things are changing a little bit. I think home purchase or home sale contingencies are going to be looked at with a little more seriousness because of the softening of the market. But that's not the only way to structure a transaction, because the challenge is if you make an offer but you haven't taken any steps to sell your property. On one hand, they get excited about the fact that someone's interested in their home. It's the age-old question of, is one in the hand worth more than two in the bush? So you've got an offer, but now we have to wait and run the risk of someone else putting their home on the market and selling it. And is that home here locally? Is it in another market that's seeing significantly different trends? There's a lot of questions that those sellers are going to have, and rightfully so. You as a seller would ask those same questions if somebody made you an offer that said, "Hey, we'll pay you what you're asking, but we've got to go through the whole process of selling our home first." And so, how long is that seller realistically going to wait for you to do that? When a closing traditionally is about 45 days, that's tough to get that accomplished if your home isn't even on the market. So another idea would basically be the reverse of a home sale contingency. It's called a home purchase contingency. And I've said this on this program before, and I still don't understand, if I'm being completely honest, why this is not more popular. Because the risk, frankly, is being taken on by the agent because of the cost associated with marketing the property. So here's what a home purchase contingency is. We know you need to sell before you can buy, but we are increasing the likelihood and decreasing the risk for a seller because our home's going to be on the market already. In fact, our home hopefully will already be under contract by the time we find something else you want to make an offer on. So a home purchase contingency is this. You put your home on the market. Let's say a buyer makes you an offer. You accept that offer, and you add a contingency that you have some predetermined period of time to find another property, to put it under contract, and to get through the inspection period. And if you do all of those things, and you've got, and it seems reasonable that you're going to close on the property that you're going to purchase, then you sell your home and you do this domino effect closing where you sell your home, you buy another the same day, and you just transition smoothly into the new home. But with the home purchase contingency, if you don't find a property that you want to put under contract within that period of time, which is completely negotiable and up to you and the buyer that makes an offer on your home, it could be 10 days, could be 3 months. But if you don't find a replacement property in time, then you just cancel the contract and you give the buyer the earnest money back, or you just choose to extend that home purchase contingency until you can find something you like. It's an awesome way of getting your home on the market and under contract without forcing you to sell it. You still have to go and find a replacement property. And I just, for whatever reason, I don't see listings in our market that have that contingency. It's a great way of going about things. So something for you to consider. There's another option out there though. And it's going to cost you just a little bit more money, but it takes all the guesswork out of it. There are companies out there, and you've probably seen some advertising on this, but there are companies out there that will buy the property that you want to buy, so that when you go to this house and you say, "Hey, I want to buy your house, but I have to sell my home first," rather than inserting that home sale contingency, which is frankly a fairly weak offer in the eyes of the seller, you can say, "Hey, I'm a guaranteed cash buyer for your house. This company guarantees they will purchase your home for cash. Now, if I can sell my home before closing, then I don't have to use this company. I don't have to incur that cost. But if I can't sell my home in time, based on when we said we would buy your house, then I'll have this third-party company buy it for cash. And it basically costs you 2% of the purchase price. And then you rent the property back from that company on a per diem basis based on average rent in that area until your home does sell. And then you just refinance, you close on the home that they bought for you. And don't worry, I mean, we've done it, dozens of times. It's a very, frankly, it's a very smooth process with this company. Some people don't have an interest in paying 2% of the purchase price to create that certainty in the eyes of the seller that, hey, no matter what, we're going to buy your house. But if you find something you really like, you've been looking for a long time, or maybe you have some fairly unique search parameters, something hits the market, there's a surefire way to ensure that you are able to purchase that property. The third option would be doing something like a sale with a leaseback to remove the stress and the cost associated with moving into maybe a rental between the time you sell your home and buy another. The fear, of course, is that you're going to wind up either homeless or owning two homes, which you don't want to do. So there are ways of structuring these transactions that protect you contractually, bulletproof contracts that would guarantee that if you can't find a home in time, you don't have to sell it to the person you agreed to sell it to. Or you can guarantee that the home that you want to buy will be purchased. And hey, if you can sell your home before then great. You don't have to incur that expense. So if you'd like more information on some of these different tactics, some of these outside of the box ways of structuring real estate transactions, then feel free to give me a call. I mean, there's a lot more out there than I think the general public, and frankly, even the population of agents, not just locally, but nationally, are using. There are way more tools in the tool belt that I have access to that I'm just not seeing used regularly. So if you'd like more information on that, please feel free to give me a call, 843-800-0065. That's 843-800-0065. Check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or send me an email, brian@brianbeattyteam.com. Stick around for the last few moments of the Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. We're going to talk about whether you should be buying cash flowing real estate right now. Does that make sense for you? So we're going to talk about that when we come back. Stick around.